Murtaza Ahmed YouTube channel. Today in this short video we shall be talking about Bakhtin and his philosophy of language. Though Bakhtin is very much famous for his analysis of theory of novel, how a novel should be and what kind of characteristics a novel can display, and up to what extent novel is better than an epic or a drama, and what are the reasons behind that. Bakhtin mostly talks about that. He's the Russian philosopher, and his association with formalist school of thought can be traced out at many places. But in this video, I need to talk about the language, the philosophy of language, which probably talks with reference to the language of the novel. Let's see what we can discuss about it. About Bakhtin, we can say that he is one of the big, scholars of 20th century, and his place can be traced with formalism, but still he can be placed between two extremes of the scholars, that is structuralist school of thought and constructivist school of thought. He is the author who refers to the language and success of language, understanding of language with respect to space and temporality. According to him, there is the things can be seen in relation, they do not exist in themselves. The things can be understood in relation to the other things. Same is the case with language, that language can be understood in relation to so many other things. According to him, this is unique position also. All the time, language or the speech or the meaning is a unified event, and that event is existing with other events and can be understood also in the same way. So this theory that there is the interrelationship between language and the world in which it is used, that is one of the most important aspect of his language theory. That means that we can understand language, we can understand the situations, we can understand the construction of the language, or we can have lots of meanings only when at that time when we relate it to society, when we relate it to the events which are taking place around it. So it means that language can be understood in relation to many of the events, while the event itself becomes the part of number of events there. So keeping in view this kind of thing about Bakhtin, we can say that he talks mostly about polyphony, and this polyphony, he means that there are all the time multiple voices in the narrative of a novel. For example, he says that if you look at the characters, different characters in a book, you will be able to see that all these characters are of multiple nature, because they have every one of them has its own phone. That's why the characteristic of the novel becomes polyphonic. Polyphony in literature also is very much important, because in literature it's a possibility that the persons or the individuals or the characters will be represented through the way they use language, they speak language, or the way they use language. This is the very best way in order to reach the dialogic sense of truth. Dialogism, according to him, is going to be multiplicity of perspective of voices, and in that with every character has multiple kind of voices, or he speaks one voice, but when the characters are combined together, they become multiple perspective of voices. Therefore, the characters, according to Bakhtin, are always double voiced. They may have one voice, but then the voice may be related with other people as well, and they can be making the narratives at the multi-voice narrative. The more the characters, the more the voice will be there. That is why he terms it as the polyphonic type of narrative of a novel. And in the same way, he talks about heteroglossia. Heteroglossia, according to him, is the combination of existing statements, especially in the speech genre, in order to construct a text. So that is why people may have diversity of styles and voices, especially the groups of the people, communities of the people. All these diversifications, when are assembled together, they are able to formulate a structured artistic system. This system arranges itself in different and particular ways in order to create a narrative of the sort which may best suit the the kind of narratives that we are studying, or the novels, the text of the novels. So in that way, language therefore becomes a combination or a type of mixture of different types of styles and voices, and it appears to be talking and in relation with understanding with each other. It goes to talk about the special qualities of the group of people which are using this language. So in that way, heteroglossia becomes the kind of narrative styles and voices which may represent one group of people or one class of people who are talking in the narrative and can be recognized from there. And therefore, the the term heteroglossia and this phenomena of language plays a very much role in making the meaning of the language. And therefore one can also talk about with reference to dialogic, because dialogic means that it's not one speaker, one type of speaker, one style of speaker. It can be multiple styles in of the speech, and it can be multiple type of speakers as well. In this way, one speaker which participates in one dialogue becomes the part of one event. He shares this event with other people, and as a result meaning can be understood with the help of the dialogue that is being played there. And the level of the dialogue doesn't matter whether it is high or low, whatever the case may be. Most of the time meaning of the language can be understood when we try to analyze the language with the respect of dialogue nature of language. In this way language can be easily understood and can be used also in order to make it as good as possible. So the whole discussion can be wrapped up by talking that Mikhail Bakhtin gives us three important factors of language with which his philosophy of language can be understood. Number one, he talks about heteroglossia. It means that there are number of type of people. These people may have their own pronunciation, their own style, spells or of the narrative, and as a result can be recognized in the language narrative and can be understood as well. In the same way, he talks about polyphony as well, that there are different types of phones of the people. These may be individual, one individual, younger age, old age, or a child, or something like that. These people may be talking about, and as a result, different meaning and the people can be associated with that if we understand the language with respect to polyphonic aspect. And then comes the dialogic aspect, that it's always the two people who are talking. One is the writer himself and the other is the imaginary writer who is also talking to the writer, and in that way in relation to each other language can be understood. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you have got something about the theory of language, philosophy of language by Mikhail Bakhtin. If you like it, do not fail to hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. So see you in some next video as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.